Tropical storms Boris and Cristina drenching the coast of Central America on tonight's Tropical Weather Bulletin. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 9th. So around the world right now, it is all the Eastern Pacific that's active at this point, with nothing else elsewhere at the moment. What's left of Amanda still churning into the Central Pacific, not quite there yet. Boris and Christina, of course, off the coast, the Pacific coast of the Americas. Elsewhere around the world, not too much going on. A train of activity of clouds in the Western Pacific, though. It's day 9 of Atlantic hurricane season, and I'm pleased to say that there are still no areas of interest at this time, but quite a few thunderstorms there over the Central Caribbean region. Well, of course, in the Eastern Pacific, things are buzzing with activity right now, although Boris and Christina not looking so hot in recent hours. Dry air and wind shear looks like it might be doing a number on one or both of them. And what's left of Amanda actually looking much better today after it became a remnant low yesterday or this morning, and is now blowing up a bit of convection again. In the Western Pacific, a few thunderstorms way out towards the international dateline, in fact, way over into the Central Pacific, and a few thunderstorms as well in the northern part of the South China Sea, spurred on by this big long wave of moisture that's moving right through Japan. Well, in the North Indian Ocean, no areas of interest at this time, but a few little scattered thunderstorms in parts of the Bay of Bengal and also along the western coast of India this morning. For what it's worth, let's take a look at the southern hemisphere, the southwest Indian Ocean. There's a few areas of showers along the southern part of Madagascar, but elsewhere it's looking pretty quiet now in this basin. Australia, a few areas of light cloud, but mostly clear across the whole area. Not looking too bad in Western Australia, and looking into the South Pacific, some low cloud along the eastern coast of Australia, and a few low-level thunderstorms in parts of the Solomon Islands by the looks of things there in the southern hemisphere. So not too crazy down there. Well, let's focus in on Christina, because it's most likely to be stronger than Boris and the bigger land threat in my opinion. Currently extending out to 80 nautical miles tropical storm force winds, though tropical storm warnings in effect. 45 miles per hour at this time. It is a mere 46 kilometers from Mexapa in Nicaragua, 64 kilometers from El Tamarindo in El Salvador, 102 from San Miguel, 106 from San Lorenzo in Honduras, and 184 from the capital of El Salvador, San Salvador. The storm has moved further north than expected, in my opinion, and to be honest, I think so. Certainly compared to what modelling has been showing. Latest National Hurricane Center forecast cone called for the storm to strengthen a fair bit, up to 60 miles per hour, before making landfall in western El Salvador, which, by the way, is pretty rare. The models are all over the place. HWRF, I think, is the one on the left there, an outlier that's keeping it out to sea the whole time. GFS also doing that for a while. But the storm has moved further north than those forecasts so far. YouTube channel so that you're always in touch with the latest tropical cyclone updates, as well as following us on social media. And you can also join our Discord server for tropical weather chat at any time on discord.gg/force13. Let's check in with latest satellite imagery then, looking at mainly Tropical Storm Christina, but you can see both of these storms here. It's getting very sloppy if you ask me, looking at the Eastern Pacific region as a whole, but very wet of course. Zooming in now on Christina, it started off as partially exposed, it's now pretty much fully exposed, with only just a little tug at the bottom there, looking dreadful on the infrared imagery. That little shoot of convection on the southern side is all that's holding it together right now, as the exposed centre of circulation draws nearer to the coast of eastern El Salvador. So at the moment, rainfall is not massive inland. Most of the rainfall is on the southern side of the storm, but watch out, because later on this evening into the overnight hours, I reckon we might see a build back up of that convection if the storm manages to do so. If wind shear is too strong, then we are going to see a bit of a dud out of Christina, to be honest. But looking at it at the moment, obviously tropical storm warning's valid. It will still have some pretty strong winds at the moment, so keep watching it closely, and those little showers bubbling up towards the end of those frames could become something more shortly. Well, Tropical Storm Boris had an elongated centre of circulation earlier today and has also been struggling. Convection is really waning in those latest frames, so I do wonder how much time Boris has as well. There was a centre relocation, or rather it was further south than expected on the National Hurricane Centre earlier, and this is a very uncertain one as well, even though it's short range, only 18 hours probably until it makes landfall. National Hurricane Centre wanted to turn left as it moves inland. GFS model wants it to turn right now. At the moment, it's not doing either, and it looks like convection is dying off very rapidly. Will it come back though? Looking around the world then, first off, the US East Coast. And we have just some general weather patterns going on there. Nothing too crazy by the looks of things. Some rather organised showers and thunderstorms occurring off the southern coast of Hispaniola, mainly Haiti, getting up towards Jamaica as well. And obviously you have this massive mess that constitutes these two storms in the eastern Pacific and their surroundings, obviously Boris and Christina. Looking further out, right on the right hand side of the image there is what's left of Amanda, looking better than it did when the National Hurricane Center declared it as a remnant low, but the circulation may not quite be there, so I wouldn't call it a depression again yet. Western Pacific, some big storms there off the coast of Hong Kong and southern China, and also off western Hainan. And looking into the Bay of Bengal, a few thunderstorms there too, and quite a few off the western coast of India, as mentioned on the overview. Southwest Indian Ocean, a few little fronts moving down there from Madagascar and also off the southeastern tip of South Africa. And another low pressure system moving way south of Australia in those latest frames too. Maybe some localized significant rainfall in South Australia. And looking towards the South Pacific, a pretty quiet, timid picture here as well. Let's take a look at the conditions then. Sea surface temperatures around the world. The Atlantic, of course, still warming up over time. Obviously a little way to go till they reach their maximums. Getting up into those good temperatures though for most of the main areas. Eastern Pacific extremely warm. One or two spots touching 32 degrees just south of Guerrero and into Oaxaca. And just off Chiapas as well, getting up close to 32 degrees. Western Pacific looking quite good here as well. For some reason we're only looking low down, but you can see the tropical Western Pacific there looking rather good, 30 degrees plus off the Philippines and off the Marianas. And looking across the Indian Ocean, looking good either side of India as well, temperatures right up there, 30 degrees and a little bit more besides in some small pockets there. Worldwide, looking at the heat anomalies, still the trail left behind by Jiangmi and Invest 91W. Eastern Pacific looking very good, extremely warm, in fact, off the coast of Mexico, up to 3 degrees above average. The El Nino effect becoming very pronounced as well on the equator, and down the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Peru, temperatures up 3, 4, maybe even 5 degrees Celsius. Tropical Atlantic looking okay, 1 to 2 degrees above. Subtropics not quite so hot. Eastern Pacific has 1 or 2 blobs of oceanic heat content there, but a marked absence near where Christina is right now. Western Pacific piping hot and piping with energy, in fact, in the Philippine Sea in particular. Draw a line from just east of Guam right through to the central Visayas and southern Luzon. In the Atlantic, Western Caribbean is the hot spot right now. Any early season storms could take advantage of that. They usually form in that kind of area in June, if we do indeed get one over there. Elsewhere, looking good too for the Atlantic for this time of year. So let's check in with the computer models. As you can see there on the short range, GFS at least wants Boris to move east and die off along the coast, and then Christina stalling quite a bit offshore before moving inland. I completely discredit this model though at the moment, because Christina certainly isn't doing that. It's right further north than where the GFS was expecting it to go. What that means is it probably won't be as strong. It will probably make landfall much sooner, and it will probably die off sooner as well, and again, probably not reach hurricane status. Looking out towards the Central Pacific, this isn't Amanda, it's something in front of it, crossing the international date line, and by the end of day 5, something into the western Pacific there becoming a tropical storm. So roots in the central Pacific, but it's crossed the international date line by now and into the western Pacific, just about becomes a tropical storm. Only the GFS holding this so far, so keep an eye out on this because we'll see if any other models start to support it. Looking at precipitation then from these two eastern Pacific systems, further precipitation, GFS has certainly ratcheted down those numbers for Boris, but numbers still high from Christina. Maybe 6 inches of further rainfall from Boris, 150 millimeters, and for some parts of Central America there, El Salvador, Guatemala, maybe getting up to 16 inches of rainfall, 400 millimeters along the coast and a little bit inland. Out to sea, by the way, 32 inches of rain possible, that's 800 millimeters. Let's check into the longer range then as we continue to track what becomes this tropical storm in the western Pacific on days 6 to 10, obviously now entering the 2nd to 3rd week of June, and it becomes a typhoon, and not only that, but a major typhoon as well, getting closer to the northernmost part of the Northern Mariana Islands, and certainly a category 3 there, pressure down into the 940s for this storm's peak as it continues to travel west-northwestwards during that period. Check out our store page for Force 13 related merch, as well as our full season and individual storm animations on request by you. Also, if you like our work, please check out our YouTube memberships. Check the join page on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/force13/join. Let's take a look at the fantasy range then, looking at this typhoon continuing to intensify and reaching a pressure in the low 940s there. This is fantasy range now, however. Big recurvature though, and it does move back out off towards the northeast, so really not a massive threat to land if that typhoon does transpire. And I'm quite surprised that we're not seeing anything else on the long range on that GFS. Usually they're quite keen, but certainly on this model at least, we're not seeing anything else around the world, East Pac or Atlantic. Off it goes. So let's take a look at what happened on this day. It was June 9th, 2004, when we had 2 Western Pacific storms active. We had Typhoon Konson reaching Category 3 status as it was brushing past Taiwan through the Ryukyu Islands, and we also had Tropical Storm Chanthu moving through the central Philippines as a tropical storm. We're going to get a little bit stronger as it approached the coast of Vietnam in a couple of days. Elsewhere on this day, things were pretty quiet, but also on a different day, June 9th, 1976, just to give an honorary mention, we also had Hurricane Annette, which was a very strong storm for this early in the season, Category 4. Well, in the Atlantic this year, the first name is Arthur on the list. In the Eastern Pacific now, the next name already is Douglas. The Eastern Pacific produced its tied for second quickest 3rd name storm of the season. Central Pacific's next name is Lala, Western Pacific, Mekhala, and in the North Indian Ocean, the next name is Arnab. 29 storms so far around the world, which is probably close to the normal, and we are code blue for these 2 storms. In the Australian region, the next name is Owen. In the southwest Indian Ocean, it's Kundai. Those names will roll over to a new set, though, on July 1st. In the South Pacific, the next name is Watsi.